Did you notice that if you look at modern comics, the way they draw women, it's almost like all of them have titty cancer. I mean, I can't think of a single woman in a modern comic book that goes above C size when it comes to her breasts. And not only that, but they have like broad shoulders, a strong masculine jawline that makes me jealous. And these women, they're very masculine. And the reason for this is that they want to avoid sexualization. In other words, they want to make sure that they are as unattractive as possible. Why is it? Well, apparently the ideology, if you actually listen to the feminists in academia, is that they don't want men to have unrealistic expectations of women. Because if women look ushi-kushi, then men would expect for that in real life. So I guess in the wise mind of the American left-wing professor, teenage boys are, how do the frat boys say, surrounded by pussy, like a tsunami of pussy. And there's like so many women that just want to date them, but they are picky. Why? Because they read comic books. But luckily, Marvel and the mouse with Disney decided to step in, decided to make the women unappealing, and I guess society has been rescued. In reality, we know that is absolute horseshit. That's not what happens. In fact, the opposite is true. And this is a study that was done on OkCupid, a dating website. And you can see how men rate women versus how women rate men. And this is completely normal. Like, I expected this to be the case, and I'll explain why. But basically, you have an entire curve here with how men rate women. Like, they consider 6% to be the least attractive, and then they go around, and you can see, like, an evenly matched, you know, what you would expect for men when it comes to rating women on appealing, you know, on dating apps. But how women rate men is completely different. So for women, the overwhelming majority of men are unattractive, and only a very, very small percent are close to being the most attractive, like most attractive 0%. So there's two reasons for why this is, right? Because a lot of people say unfairness. Maybe, you know what? Maybe women read different comic books. That's what it is. Like, maybe women read comic books that give them a realistic representation of men. Like, they expect men to be like Superman. They expect men to be very charismatic, fearless, very rich, like Batman or Iron Man. To have a strong sense of humor is the comic books that... No. In reality is that women are attracted to different things. One of that is personality. And it's very difficult to tell personality from a dating app. I mean, just by looking at the picture isn't going to tell you much whether or not the man is intelligent or funny. So that is one thing, right? Like, dating apps do not favor men when it comes to revealing your personality in text. The second problem is supply and demand. I mean, it's a lot more difficult for a man to find a woman than it is for a woman to find a man. Like, if you're a woman and you go out and you say, I'm lonely, can someone help? Taskete? I'm pretty sure there's already 10 guys that are just going to approach, right? So when you have such ample supply, your standards start to grow. I mean, picture yourself in an alternative reality where you're surrounded by 10 out of 10 superstar models and they're all throwing themselves at you. Well, if you want to pick one, I guess like you're going to go, right, well, all the women around me are beautiful, so let's see how much they earn. Let's see who has a stable income. Let's see who shares the same hobbies that I do. So all of a sudden, you're going to get more and more picky. And this is pretty much what it is. Now, there are other issues to take into account. For example, you will often hear, like, if you go on websites where women complain about being single, and they will say that, oh, I found this guy, and, you know, it's kind of nice. I mean, we cuddle and we hug, but I don't know if you want a stable relationship. Or I found this guy, and the sex is amazing, but I'm afraid that he's not going to commit to a serious relationship. So that is like what women have. You know, they can get into the fuck zone. So the fuck zone is where the man is willing to have sex with them, but nothing more. Like, they're not willing to introduce her to his friends. They're not willing to pursue an actual relationship. They just want to have sex. Okay, so that is the worst thing that can happen for a woman, is to get fuck zone. For men, it's friend zone. So the friend zone is you don't get any sort of interaction whatsoever. So, you know, this shows that there is difference between the sexes, and as I said before, there should be, because the sexes are meant to complete each other. But the problem with the men is that, like, if you're at the age, like, let's say you're just a teenager, you don't have much to offer, even getting the attention of a woman is very difficult. For women, not so much. So again, like, the pickiness starts to appear, because for women, it's really easy to just hang around with men and have some companionship. Because again, like, if you're friend zoned as a man, it implies that there is a woman out there that is having your friendship and your time and probably your resources, right? So for a woman, it's not difficult to find someone that they can talk to on the phone whenever they want, that they can go out to a nice stroll in the park whenever they want. Men do not have this option. Like, there are so many single men out there that legitimately don't know what to do and how to attract a woman. And it's also to do with the fact that as a man, you have to give something. You know, there was a meme that I made a video of where a lot of men are saying, I don't have anything to offer besides my love and affection, and that is completely worthless in modern society. And that is true, right? Like, a woman just offering her love and affection is enough in many relationships. For a man, that's not enough, because like any other man can offer the same thing. No, like, you need to do more. So it's the supply and demand thing, especially on dating apps, that is causing this to happen. And yeah, I would not recommend dating apps, to be honest. I think they're very dehumanizing in a way. It's kind of like going to a supermarket and looking at the merchandise. There are other ways to attract women, and you can even use the internet. Just don't use dating apps. I mean, Facebook is a lot better. Just find a Facebook group that you like. For example, something that shares a hobby that you have, a Facebook group about movies or board games or whatever. Find a girl that shares the same hobbies as you do, and then initiate a conversation like that. And it's going to be a lot better than just going on a dating app where, again, it's very dehumanizing in my opinion. I mean, look at this. Look. And it's also interesting, right? Because like women, they have these unrealistic expectations of men. And I assume like these 2% are probably football players, athletes, CEOs. And the funny thing is, like, these people, they're not going to find a woman on a dating site. Like, let's be honest. I mean, a relationship, they're probably, like, if you're in the 2% here, you are probably surrounded by so many women. And I don't think like these men read comic books either. I think they're going to be very picky, and they're going to go for the 18-year-old supermodel. But anyway, right, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.